this is to continue with that post I had made about the music. I, I don't know what it is to me, but music is something that has influenced me and gotten me through a lot. And to, to everyone, to each their own story about interactions with band guys or how they met their idol or whatever. But I just think it's weird to think that it's like people are so judgmental about it, but it's something sacred to everybody. It's just like you have like your own opinions on things. It's like you don't hear people like bashing other people's like handwriting. Like, yeah, someone might say, oh, you have awful handwriting, but it's not like, oh my god, my heart's been ripped in two. But like, when it comes to music, you think about it that way and you're like, oh my god, music is something really important to me and it's something you get defensive over. And it just seems like people don't seem to consider that when they take to saying, oh, your music sucks. Like I sang with Bring Me the Horizon, I hate, hate people who say, oh, I just hate Ollie because he sucks at screaming or something stupid like that. It's like, I will respect your opinion more if you say, I don't like Ollie because I went to go see da da da. I went to go see them in a concert and I was given an opportunity to meet him and he was completely rude to me for no reason when he had been talking to fans for like 20 minutes before I even went up to him. Like something like that, or something where you, or like if there was a song by Bring the Horizon that you and your boyfriend or you and your girlfriend or whatever liked and then you broke up, so that's negative connotation for you. Like if it's something like that, I will respect that more than, oh, I just don't like it because he's Oliver Sykes. Like I don't get how people can say that about certain things so easily, but when it comes to like other topics like religion or something like that, like you're going to get defensive. And like in a way, if you think about it, music is just as important as like a religion or like schoolwork or something like that. Like there's as much meaning in it as your brain sending like 100 millisecond like synapses to your lungs to say don't forget to exhale the carbon dioxide and inhale the oxygen. Like it happens like that. Like you get an attachment, like you have a story, you meet a band guy, you go through a rough time, you make your best friend at a concert, and like you constantly go to concerts with that friend, or you've met people on Tumblr at concerts because you never knew you went to the same venue or the same, you never knew you lived in the same area, or you've seen each other at concerts before but you've never said anything. Like if you want to hate on a band, by all means hate on them, but understand that at the end of every single day, they are humans just like us. Just like how people hate on bands like One Direction, which I'm also a fan of. Like they're humans as well. Like yes, band guys, musicians, artists, whatever their celebrity status is, they're humans just like us. And it aggravates me to no end when people come into my ass box if I post something or I like reblog something. It's like, oh my god, why do you even reblog that? That's so stupid. It's like, what has meaning to me might not have meaning to you, but just because it doesn't have meaning to you doesn't mean that gives you a right to say, oh, I don't think you should blog that, or oh, that's stupid. Like, that's how I think, especially with a lot of like band fandoms, and, and is that people don't understand it. And like Johnny said, it's like with electronic dance music, people don't understand that kind of music. Like they think, oh, that's raver music. Like, oh, that's where people like with the pacifiers and stuff like that. It's like, don't judge what you don't understand. Like for some people, that's like a lifestyle. Like they like to go to those raves. They like to go to those glow fest things. Like that's people's like choice. Like you say, it's not like someone says, oh, you breathe funny, you can't breathe air. Like you don't see people judging stuff like that. Why is music something that's individualized to everybody, musician or not, that that gives you freedom to judge? But like if you judge on something else, like, you're gonna get yelled at for, because that's not appropriate. But how come you can freely judge on someone's music, but you can't say certain things? Like, I just think that people need to be more open minded to these things, because it's like, when you talk to someone, unless you actually know them, like, regardless of whether you physically know them, like they're your neighbor down the street or they're your best friend from kindergarten or whatever, or whether you just met them online because you have the same music taste, like, you don't know somebody's story. Like, and that's what the thing is like, when people say, oh, like, that band, they're like so stupid, like, I don't even get why they have fans. Like, someone out there might have been really ready to take their life, but when they heard a song by a certain band that could have said there's hope, or if a musician or a whatever did like a it gets better video, like, you don't know what people have been through. Like, you don't know why they like that band, or you don't know why they like are obsessive over that band, or you don't know why it's so important to get a tweet from them so they acknowledge you. Like, people just assume that, oh, like, especially adults, like, people just assume, like, oh, that my daughter likes that band because the guys are hot, or like whatever. Like, even parents do that. Like, I mean, I'm lucky enough where when I've seen All Time Low all four times, the fourth time being in November, I've like been lucky enough that my dad has gotten into them. Like, I saw them at Bamboozle when they played Bamboozle a couple years back. And then the next time I saw them was My Small Package tour, and that's when I met them. And then I saw them at the Gimme Your Summer Lovin' tour, and now I'm seeing them at the Webster Theater in Hartford, Connecticut again in November. So, like, people say that music doesn't mean something to someone. Here's the perfect example of how it means to me. When I saw them at the My Small Package tour, I got the meet and greet, and that was their last like kickback tour before Dirty Work came out. Before they stopped playing like their older albums, and they were getting ready to prep for this. Was before the Dirty Work tour. So I was in the front, and that was my first stand. Mind you, I've only been to 4 concerts. All of them have been All Time Low, but the Small Package tour was the first tour that didn't have seats, so it was standing room only. And if any of you have ever been to the Webster Underground, you know how small of an area that is. So of course I got up at front when the meet and greet was over. Like, me and a couple of kids that I had met ran to the front. So I was up there like through before you exit Jonah Passetti's old band before they broke up that had Dr. Phil's son in it. All those bands. And then when it got a Rocket to the Moon or whatever, and then when it got to All Time Low, I was good for the first couple of songs, but towards the end, like towards the end of the concert, I had to go sit out on one of their road cases because I literally could not breathe. And they played Vegas. And so I sat there on that road case, my head against the wall, like sobbing, not because I was upset that I wasn't in there at that point, but sobbing because this was one of my favorite songs and they were playing it, and it was the day I met them. And so I always, whenever ever Vegas comes on, I can't turn it off. Like, I just can't. Even if I'm not in the mood for a peppy song, like if I'm sad or upset over something, I cannot not listen to it, because as soon as I listen to it, I instantly become happier, because I remember sitting in the car, like talking my dad's ear off, saying, oh my God, Dad, we're meeting All Time Low. I am meeting All Time Low. And thanks to that, I got one of my best friends. And I don't care what you say about this, but the fact that I now know I have my fake adopted brother Zach, and like he's there for me because I was that girl who stood there sobbing awkwardly, and he was like, "Do I pet her? What do I do?" Like, because of that, I made one of my best friends like ever, and I don't care what people say, like, oh, you don't know him, or oh, you obviously don't because you don't post stuff. Like, you can say whatever you want, but to me, the fact that because my love of music got me through so much, and I now have someone who I can trust with a lot of things, means the world to me. And people are more than welcome to think whatever they want about that. But if you come into my ass box on Tumblr, or you go on my Twitter, or you see me in person and you say something about a band I like without reason, like you just say, oh, I don't like All Time Low because like one time like I was in like the shopping mall and like I saw Alex and I went to say hi and he was like angry at me, like something where you might have unintentionally done something or he just wasn't in a good mood or whoever it was, like I'm going to defend them. And I don't care how harsh or rude I seem, but a lot of these bands are lifesavers to me. Like they've done something that's affected me, or they've somehow affected my life. And I just wish people would understand that that's what music is. It's how it affects you. It's how you like I said with Vegas, that's how I memorize October 20th, 2010 at the Webster Theater, because I still had braces. So when I got pictures with all four of them, I was not smiling and there was like hair in my face and I was just like, so like I was shaking to the point where like Alex noticed it, because when after I took my photo and my dad and him started talking, he looked at me and he like kind of, his eyes kind of were like wide, like are you okay? And like I just will never forget that day. Like you could talk to me in like 4 5 years and I will still remember the day. I will still remember the set list. I will still remember how Vinny and my dad, because we saw Vinny Vegas outside and my dad was I said I liked his Yankee shirt and they were talking about the game, how excuse me, Vinny was going from the merch table to the bar where my dad was standing to tell him the Yankee score and whatnot, and how Ryan Dawson tweeted me that night because of my dad. Like, I will never forget those memories. Or how at the Give Me Your Summer Lovin' tour, I met Jeff Maker. Like, Jeff Maker is one of my favorite crew members next to Vinny, and I finally got a photo with Jeff, and like, to me, that was like the most amazing thing. And like, if you want to hate on bands like screaming bands or EMD artists, go ahead. I don't care what you do, but if you come to me and attack artists or musicians or just band guys I like, not even the band as a whole, don't expect me to hold my tongue, because that's the point of music. It's what evokes emotion in you. It's like, it's just like when people say, oh, tattooing is not a form of art. It's, yes it is. It's how you choose to express yourself. Like, so what if you dye your hair? What if you have tattoos? So what if you have gauges that make your ears go down to here? Whatever is how you express yourself is how you should express yourself. And I think that's one of the big things with these band guys, like especially the hard metalcore bands like Bring Me the Horizon, Ask Alexandria, Memphis Mayfire, Suicide Silence, is that they're saying, look at us. We're not the cookie cutter. We're not someone that we're the ones your parents warned you about. We're the ones that break the rules. We're the ones that aren't who you think we are. But deep down inside, regardless of how many tattoos, regardless of whether they have kids or their kids are their pets, or regardless of incidents like the Seattle mishap with Danny, never, never think they aren't people, because they go to bed every night with their own demons, their own fights, their own drama. And when someone says something like that, you can bet it's going to affect them. So just think twice before you say stuff to me or band guys, and think how other people are affected. I'm sorry if this is really rambly, but I mean, it's honestly how I feel, and if you want to hate me for it, then go ahead. Bye.